All right, Ryan. So one interesting thing I wanted to discuss with you is, people relocating to Georgia, people relocating to Atlanta, and it seems like we're a top 10 state. We've got a lot of different industries, a lot of businesses, companies that are here. Can you speak a little bit to what you're seeing on your end as far as buyer demand from out of state for people coming in to Atlanta?
Absolutely. So in 2023, we saw an increase of around 67,000 people, I believe it was.
Wow.
Just to the Atlanta market. So we're not looking at all the ancillary markets there. But what happens, and that's just 2023, so they're, not taking account the other 2 years we've seen a mass influx. But it's put pressure on our housing market because we don't have the building that's necessary in order to sustain that kind of growth. So ultimately it's driving prices up.
Interesting. Okay. No, and I've seen that too on my end as well with my team is we do have a lot of out-of-state buyers that are certainly moving to the Atlanta area for work. A lot of these individuals are working remote as well. And would you say that that's really just keeping prices up in general?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the factors. And you did touch on that Georgia is one of the most business-friendly states. So I do not anticipate a decline of that motivation to come here, only because we are so friendly.
Interesting. So if people are thinking about buying, regardless of the home values, you still think it's a good plan long term if people decide to put down roots here to purchase a home versus rent. I've read that, rents are a little bit cheaper than actually owning a home due to the current interest rate market, but you still believe that in certain cases, it makes sense for people to buy?
Absolutely. So looking back, coming out of the COVID era, nothing good really came out of COVID, of course, with the exception that we all understand what stability is. And some sort of understanding of permanence in the chaos that we live in. And that's exactly what homeownership drives us to, right? So if you look at some of the rental markets around Atlanta, we watch a lot of people that own the rental that are actually now selling it.
Right.
And the tenant then is either displaced or they can remain until the end of their lease, but usually they're forced to find another place to go.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So if you're looking for stability, you want to put down roots and not, run into a situation where your house is actually sold if you are renting. That's actually an interesting idea. And we've seen that too. I mean, look, rent rolls seem to be going up in our market quite a bit, even though that they're building. And, that's just something that, people need to take into account. Where do you want to be in the future? Do you want to own something? Do you want to invest? Do you want to, capture that appreciation? Do you want those tax benefits in our market,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a big thing too. And I'm not an accountant, of course, but you do get line item deductions on the interest for your mortgage and things of that nature. So that's a whole nother reason to pursue.
Right. Yeah. And another interesting point that I've been following as well is they're talking about the stats on home values in Georgia that our state is set to appreciate quite a bit, moving forward into this next year and even the following year, which I found kind of surprising because the prices are a bit elevated, it seems.
Yeah. And it's going to be because we still have a migration into the Atlanta market, if for nothing else but jobs.
Right. The Sun Belt states have definitely captured a lot of relocations like we had mentioned earlier. So, yeah, look, I mean, if you're looking to buy a house, and if you can get pre-approved, and even if you can at this time, our strategy is to really look at that file, look at that client, and even if you can't get pre-approved today, we're going to put together a plan of action for you. That way you can get loan ready in the future. And if your goal is to own one day, there's certain steps I think that you can follow or begin now to really understand what's possible and just really get the facts. I get calls from clients all the time, and there's a lot of misconceptions around purchasing a home. So I do feel like it's good to talk to a professional, dig into your scenario, understand what's possible, at least so you have the facts and as far as where people want to live, where are you seeing, a lot of the drive and a lot of the volume going where people are actually moving?
It really just depends on industry for the most part. To say there's a concerted spot that's just absolutely booming is kind of hard to pin down because so many people work from home these days.
Sure.
But we are seeing a lot of growth in the northern suburbs, and it's starting to push out further south as well, going toward 85, down 85 rather. There's growth everywhere. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. what's
Right.
going on.
Everything's booming. So even depending on the person's budget, regardless of what that budget is, in your mind, are there still opportunities in different areas around Metro Atlanta or even in different parts of the state where they can still purchase a home a little bit cheaper?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah, there's something for everyone in Georgia. Now, you have to be flexible in some regards, right? You know, your expectations versus where your dollar goes. We just have to put you in the right spot.
Right, right. No, no doubt. That makes a lot of sense. And, again, just looking at the numbers, figuring out, what you're comfortable with, what you can afford, I think is incredibly important.